Hello there. So this is a tutorial for Harvey Stella. I'm going to show you how to play this on guitar. It's being recorded in response to a request that was made on my cover video for that song. I believe the request came in a couple of months ago, and I've unfortunately not been able to get around to putting this up until now because my camera was stolen. But I have a replacement. I'm using it to record this now. Uh, the song is a pretty easy one to play in general. Mainly uses bar chords, pretty basic stuff. The verse part is slightly tricky. It uses this aggressive strumming pattern that might be a little bit tricky at first, but it's pretty easy if you slow it down and kind of work it through its paces, work it up to speed. There's also a little guitar break slash guitar solo thing that happens towards the end of the song that, it's also slightly peculiar, rhythmically, but essentially like the fingerings are pretty easy, and it's the kind of thing if you take some time with it, you can really get it down, pretty easily. Anyways, I'm going to go through each part of the song, just playing them at normal speed, and then just kind of break down what I do, slow it down afterwards, and explain what's going on. Anyways, the intro riff, and also doubles as the chorus riff of the song, goes like this. So this starts in slightly peculiar fashion. She's hammering on a power chord. It's very subtle, but if you listen to the recording pretty carefully, you can hear this happening. And I think it's essential to the sound of the song. Really gives it kind of a nice attitude, I think. To do that, you want to bar, meaning you want to lay your index finger all the way across the 6 strings on the 2nd fret, clamp it down with your thumb in the back, like so, and then you're going to hammer on. You're going to play that bar, at least the bottom few strings on that. You're going to play that bar, and then you're going to add your ring finger to the 4th fret of the A string and your pinky finger to the 4th fret of the D string. That might sound a little tricky to do on paper, but in practice it's actually not that hard, especially because you're moving both fingers at the same time, and it's kind of a basic shape you might be used to playing already. Played slowly, it sounds like this. So anyways, after that little bit, she throws in an E power chord, or an E minor power chord. All you have to do to play that is just lower your bar 1 string, leave the low E string open, and you want to fret the A string and the D string on the 2nd fret. You can also be barring all the way across. It doesn't really matter if you get the G string in there too on the 2nd fret. Really your focus is going to be on the lower strings for this riff. After that, she plays an A chord. Again, we can just move the index finger down a string, so that we're leaving the A string open, and we're playing the 2nd fret of the D and G strings. Played slowly, all of that so far sounds like this. So at the end of that A chord, she tacks on a G note on the low E string on the 3rd fret. Then she goes back up to the A chord, and then she ends the riff on a C note on the A string, the 3rd fret of the A string. Altogether, it sounds like this. She plays that twice more, and then the 4th time around she adds on almost kind of a turnaround figure. It's basically, she's just repeating the tail end of that riff. So it sounds like this played slowly. Sorry, it sounds like this played slowly. So just repeating that G to A to C little move. You might notice that I used kind of a pull off on that second to last C note. I don't think it's essential, it's just something that feels good to me to play. If you miss that, it's okay. Like, it's probably not going to sound that much different. I also throw a tiny bit of vibrato on the last C note too to give it a little bit more attitude. Anyways, next up is the verse part, which I'll play through in normal speed. So for this, I believe she is using sort of a truncated version of a power chord, or a bar chord, excuse me, where she is just using the bottom 4 strings, fret the 2nd fret of the E string and the 2nd fret of the B string using your index finger, kind of a bar in miniature form. You throw your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, and then you throw your ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string. So altogether you get that. It's played this way. It's actually, I would call it a Hendrix style chord. You know, Jimi Hendrix was really fond of using this chord shape because it allowed him to use his pinky finger to sort of pull off or hammer on stuff, just add these little embellishments. John Frusciante is a modern player. He uses that all the time. You know, Under the Bridge is a really, really good example of a song where that style of chord is used with the pinky embellishments, just to give you an idea. Anyways, not to get too far off track, that is the shape of the chord that you're using, and it's being played as an F sharp, then it's moved up 3 frets for an A, then it's moved up 2 frets for a B. So 3 chords in total. It's pretty easy. Played slowly, and listen for the muted strings on this as well. A little chukka stuff, because that's really important for the attitude of this riff. Played slowly, it goes like this. So the important part of that piece of the song is really the rhythm. You know, you don't really need to, you know, worry yourself too much over like cleanly articulating every single chord. You know, just so long as you're really kind of locked into that rhythm where you're getting those string mutes in there. And you know, the way to do that is, number one, to, you know, play it slowly, like I just played it, until you can work it up to speed and you feel comfortable playing it. Like, you know, if you're not used to playing, you know, guitar like that, it might take you, you know, a little bit of time to work it up to speed. The second part of that that's really important is to keep a loose strumming wrist. That will really help kind of facilitate the rhythm. Just, you know, it'll just make it easier for you to kind of nail that, because you really want to nail that rhythm. You know, that's really, I think, what gives that part its distinctive tone and sort of a aggressiveness, and it will sound like she sounds on the record. It's also probably worth noting, if you're playing this amplified, as you probably should, and I probably should. I don't have any amplification materials around here. That part is played clean, or at least with a fairly clean tone. So if, you know, you're probably playing the intro riff and all the other stuff in the song with some distortion, but for the verse part, you want to lay off the distortion a tiny bit, maybe dial back the volume on your guitar just to cut some of that out and give you a cleaner sound to approach the way it sounded on the record. There is a second verse riff that, I mean, you could actually really consider it a pre-chorus riff. It's all bar chords and, played up to speed. It goes like this. So that's your pre-chorus riff. All it's using is a bar chord starting on the F-sharp bar chord. Again, fretting all 6 strings with your index finger on the 2nd fret. Use your ring finger on the 4th fret of the A string, your pinky finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and you want to use your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. So that's a full bar, and then the B and the high E string are also fretted by your index finger at the 2nd fret. So all she's doing is hitting F sharp, moving up to A, then she pulls it down to a full E major chord. All you have to do is pull the same shape down and just remove your bar. So you get a standard E major chord. The second time around, the riff ends on a G sharp bar chord at the 4th fret. Same shape, just moved around a little bit. The only other part of this song actually is the guitar break. Well, actually, there's 2 more parts: the guitar break and one other little part after that. The guitar played up to speed goes like this. So it's a pretty simple part. What you want to do is use your ring finger on the 4th fret of the A string, your pinky finger on the 4th fret of the D string. You're basically playing little 2-note shapes. Then you want to go down to the 2nd fret of the A string and the 2nd fret of the D string. Throw in a little mute. Then you want to go to the 4th fret of the G and the B string. I find that it's easiest to just bar those both with my ring finger rather than try to play them with the ring and the index. Just bar them. And then you want to bend them up too. You want to bend them up, I think about a 1/4 step or about a 1/2 step or so. You release the bend, hit the 4th fret without bending it up at the G and the B string, and then go down to the 2nd fret of the G and the B string. It ends there, and you have another couple of little mutes thrown in between. So played slowly, it goes like this. On that very last bend, you want to just keep the bend held up. You don't want to release that bend. And then, you're waiting for that point where all the rest of the music or all the rest of the instruments crash back in gloriously. And that part, played up to speed, sounds like this on the guitar. So that is simply a G sharp bar chord played like we were playing it on the pre-chorus, or I'm sorry, it was the pre-chorus. Play that 4 times. Then you're going to play that little hammered on F sharp figure that started the song, and that starts every chorus. And then you're going to move up to an A chord. Just one A chord. And that's basically it. I hope that this was useful. You should be able to find the tablature that I put up for this song in the description field of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to post a comment or shoot me a message. Alright, see ya.